Technical session number 16 by BYK India Pvt Limited. The topic is Enhanced Coating Surfaces, the BYK Way. This will be presented to us by Mr. Amol Shahane. May I request Mr. Pratik to accompany Mr. Amol Shahane on the stage and present a beach box to him to welcome him warmly as we welcome our next speaker. Mr. Amol Shahane is End-Use Manager, Automotive and Powder Coatings, India and Subcontinent at BYK. He holds more than 16 years of rich experience in technical services, OEM and car refinish, and more than 6 years of experience in technical sales. He worked with ICI Paints, BASF, PPG Asian Paints, and Stirling. He joined BYK in 2019 and is responsible for the techno-commercial activities in automotive and powder coatings business for India and subcontinent. Mr. Amol Shahane.
Hello. Thank you so much, Ruchi, for the nice introduction.
Pleasure.
And on behalf of BYK, I would like to thank IPCA team for such a nice event and organizing the knowledge sharing session for everybody. So I would like to, take you through the presentation. Before that, good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay. My topic today is enhanced coating surfaces, the BYK way. So what exactly the enhanced surfaces means? Everybody knows BYK, these additives plays very well role in the coatings and also its performance. And so enhancing surfaces means to improve the appearance of the coatings, to improve the wettability, to improve the water repellency, also to improve the stain resistance, abrasion resistance, and also, no doubt, the hardness of the paint film. So today, the content of my presentation here is surface tension and surface energy. So my friends like Yogesh and also Mr. Amol have already discussed about the surface tension and surface energy. Then surface measurement techniques, substrate wetting, fluid leveling, silicone, and most important part is specialties and macromer technology. Now coming to the surface tension and surface energy. So there is a relation between surface tension of the liquid or the paint and the surface energy. So here on the left hand side we can see the water droplets are not properly wet on the film. And so to get a proper wettability in the paint, there is a thumb rule that the surface tension of paint should be less than the surface energy of the substrate. So here is small video. So I would like to tell that total surface tension is the sum of dispersed interactions and the polar forces. So in this video, we can see there are two paints. One is with surface additive and one without surface additive. So if you see the wettability of left-hand side liquid paint, so it is comparatively very poor to the right-hand side paint because the right-hand paint, it contains surface additive which gives the reduction in the surface tension and thus it gives a very good wettability on the substrate. Now coming to the surface tension of liquids, different types of liquids, resins, and also the surface energy of different types of substrates. So in this particular chart, we can see there is a surface tension given for the solvents like water, xylene, and spirit. So everybody knows the surface tension of water is higher than the solvents. And in case of resin, if you'll see, the melamine resins is having higher surface tension comparative to alkyd resins and acrylic resins. Whereas in case of substrate, there is a surface energy. So phosphatized steel is having better surface energy comparative to SMC polyester or the polypropylene. in this picture, we can see the left-hand side surface is having very poor finish. So surface tension and surface energy plays a very important role for getting better appearance. If the surface energy of a substrate is low, then we can find the poor wettability of the liquid paint on it. And that's why we can differentiate the right-hand side picture, which is having higher surface energy, providing a better finish. And that's how left-hand side finish is not good, and the right-hand finish is really good because there is a better leveling on the surface. Now coming to the surface measurement techniques. So to measure any surface tension of liquid or a paint, we need some surface tension equipments. So in case of liquid, there are two different surface tensions. One is static and another is the dynamic surface tension. So static surface tension, we use ring detachment method for measuring that, and for bubble pressure, for dynamic surface tension, we use bubble pressure tensiometer. Whereas in case of substrate, the surface energy is measured by using the contact angle method. So here are some instruments. So BYK also has like surface tension measuring instrument in the lab. Now coming to the substrate wetting and flow and leveling. This is one substrate which is having the surface energy 30 millinewton per meter. So we have three paint systems which is having different surface tension, like system 1 is having 33, system 2 29, and system 3 25. So if you'll see the difference in between the system 1 and system the substrate, so there is a obviously there is a surface tension difference in between the system 1 and the surface, and which is little higher comparative to the surface system 2, and that's why we can see the poor flow or poor wettability of system 1 on the substrate, whereas the system 2 having a very less surface tension difference in between the liquid and the substrate, and that's why we can get very good substrate leveling or substrate wettability. In system 3, the surface tension is lesser than the substrate, and the difference is little bit higher, and though there is a wettability, but the leveling is very poor. Then what could be the remedies for that? So in case of system 1, we have to just reduce the surface tension of a paint so that it will give a better wettability. And in system 3, we have to adjust the surface tension by reducing the amount of active silicon in the system. And that's how we can get a proper leveling and also wettability. Now let us understand flow and leveling. So I think this is a very important criteria or important property of a paint, that it should have a better leveling and also the flow. So the smallest possible interface between air and the liquid, if it is very smaller, then you will get a proper flow and leveling, because while drying, the volatile compound in the paint film, it evaporates, and then it gives different surface tensions, and that's how if the interface between liquid and air is small, then it gives a better leveling. And if this interface between the liquid and air is higher, then definitely the leveling is very poor, because there are Barnard cell formation or the eddy currents in between the paint film, which causes the surface tension difference, and that's how it gives or it affects on the leveling and flow of the paint on the substrate. Now coming to the next part, that is silicon. So in BYK portfolio, especially talking about the surface additives, starting from BYK 320 or BYK 331, these are PDMS, that is dimethyl polysiloxanes. So these silicon additives gives surface tension reduction and also gives very good slip resistance. But comparative to dosages and comparative to BYK 333 and BYK 378, it gives a lesser slip. In the graph shown over here, the BYK 378, so when we compare the slip, so obviously the graph is completely different or opposite. BYK 378 and 333, it gives better surface slip comparative to BYK 320 or 331. So Of course, so there are different purposes of using these additives. So if somebody wants better substrate hardness or better substrate sleep, so definitely they can choose BYK 333 or 378. So there is one video that I would like to play. So here dimethyl content, if it is higher, then you will get higher sleep. So in this panel, we can see the metal block is sliding very easily. Okay, and the second panel, with a less angle, the block is immediately get slipped. So it means it is having better slip. And the third panel, so there is a difficulty of slip, in this particular block, and that's why it gives a resistance while slipping. And thus, the higher dimethyl content in the paint coating or paints gives better slip. Now coming to the last part of this presentation, and I think this is really very important because BYK has now come up with the macromore technology. So if you'll see the journey of the surface additives, so coming with the standard acrylates, so those are used only for the flow and leveling. And these were giving anti-popping properties. But then there was a need further to get a surface tension reduction in the paint coating. And that's how we developed the BYK 3550, which is dimethyl ether and silicone containing product, which was giving actually the surface tension reduction. Okay, but I think that was not enough. Again, there was a demand from the market that there should be increase in the surface energy, which will give a better recoatability of in multi-layer systems, and that's how the birth of BYK 3560 was there. And this particular product was, offering the surface energy, increased surface energy. And then again, there was some modification. The modification was done with a silicone chain and also polyether chain in a main acrylate backbone. And then BYK 365 was developed by us, which was offering the surface energy enhancement and also stronger orientation at the interface, which was giving better flow and leveling property. So after 3565, then there was further development came, then 3566 was developed, then 3568 was developed, and now this BYK 3568 is one-stop solution for flow and leveling, for anti-cratering property, to get better recoatability. And this was the silicone and polyether modified acrylate. So let us understand its application. So BYK 3565, 3566 or 3568, as you know that in automotive systems, there is a multi-layer application, and in multi-layer there is a challenge of intercoat adhesion and also better wettability. So here are some CD coat, primer surface, base coat and clear coat. So this particular BYK 3568 or 3566, when it was added in primer surfacer or maybe in clear coat, whenever you again do the recoating of the system, then you will get a better adhesion. So here is one simple example that how this 3568 improves the wettability. So here is one primer, and this is a primer without additive. So when you put some water droplets into that, so those water droplets are not wetting properly on the substrate. Okay. Whereas in the next system, in primer surfacer, when we add 3568, so after baking, when you put some droplets on that, so it gives a better wettability. So spreadability is getting improved, and that's how this is the USP of this product. So you can see over here, the right-hand side picture, the wettability of that particular drop is better comparative to the product which is without the surface additive. Again, this is one more example where actually when there is a wedge application, say for example, there is a solvent-based primer, and on solvent-based primer, you want to apply the water-based base coat or any other product, okay? So there is always challenge of wettability and also intercoat adhesion. So here is one example that this primer, gray primer, there is an application of a base coat, red color base coat. So you can see here, there is a very poor overspray compatibility. And this overspray compatibility, if you want to improve it further, and when you add any market standard silicone additive, so it gives de-wetting and there is no proper wettability. But by using BYK 3565 or 3568, when it is added into the primer surfacer, it enhances the surface energy. And after that, you can apply the water-based base coat. This base coat gives, the overspray is getting properly merged, or the overspray wettability on the primer is really very good. And so you get a proper coverage in a paint film and in two different systems. Now coming to the architectural application. So in architectural, everybody knows in exterior coatings, there is a accumulation of the dust on the wall surfaces. And everybody wants that actually this dust should get easily removed. So there was this scope to remove the dirty surfaces on exterior application, and also it should have a very easy clean effect. And there should not be any mechanism to remove it. Just by natural rain or raining, that dust should get removed. And that's how the project was initiated, and then multiple developments were done. The requirements from this coating was to get a waterfall effect, have a stable contact angles after leaching test, and also easy clean effect, and also it should have long-term stability for hydrophilicity. And that's how, if suppose it is there, definitely you will get this effect. So in the picture you can see there is a wall and the paint is there. So here the wettability of that water drop is comparatively very less compared to the picture number 2 and number 3. So in number 3 you can see the water getting wet on the surface, and it is easily removing the dust. And that's how the application of this BYK 3565 or 3568 is there. Similarly, in the ink industry or in flexo ink, to improve the over printability, like you can see there are the yellow is the base. Okay, in yellow the BYK 3568 is added, and on that that yellow the water-based flexo ink is applied. So again there is a challenge of printability, and this challenge is overcome by using BYK 3560 in underneath coating, that is yellow coating. And that's how we can see the difference with control and 3560, where we can get a better wettability and also the over printability. So now see the placement of this BYK 3568. So I would like to tell here that this BYK 3568 gives better surface energy and also a reduction in a surface tension. So one product giving better wettability, better surface energy, and also the surface reduction in a paint. So what is the future? The future of this particular macromer is reduction in the surface tension without influencing the surface energy of a cured paint. To improve the surface energy, anti-cratering property, anti-slip property, and also without impacting the recoatability. So coming to the BYK facility in Pune, we have BYK Technology Center in Pune. So I would like to request my dear customers, you can come to lab and evaluate your products. Either come for the troubleshooting, come for new developments. We always welcome in our BYK lab, which is well-equipped lab with all instruments and also the dry film measuring equipments. And here is our BYK India team. Obviously, it is not a full team. We have different end users, like paint is one of the end use. So for paint, we have 6 end use managers, okay? So I am taking care of automotive and powder coating, and likewise, there are my colleagues who are handling different end users. And these end users are supported by our lab team, that is Miss Supriya Laturkan and Satyam Chevale. Satyam, if you can raise the hand. So he's the person who is taking care of the laboratory, and Mr. Niraj Sainere. Okay, so now coming to the last part of this presentation. So BYK as an additive company has developed this app, and I think this is on the fingers you can have the details of all the products, BYK products. then it's regulatory information, MSDS, TDS. So everything is available just one touch, away from, away. And you can download this app, and depending on the end users, end application, so you will get the information for any BYK products. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. I would like to thanks for your attention, and the floor is open for the questions. Thank you so much.